Hello guys, while trying AI models, most of the videos and testers try to generate something, new project, new snake game or something like that. What about existing project code? How would AI understand the older project, a bit legacy code, older version of the framework, basically real-life scenarios. So you have an older project, which I found online, open source, UNOPIM, Laravel-based software, but it is on Laravel 10, which is older version. It has a non-standard structure of packages, and inside of those packages we have controllers and routes. So in this video, I will show you 4 AI agents, how they understand that older code base, how would they answer the question about the code base, basically finding the pattern and finding the file, and then how they would generate a new feature, which would be a new thing here on the dashboard. So I will test Claude 4 Sonnet with Cursor, then Claude Code with the same Claude 4 Sonnet, also Codex with GPT-5 Codex, the new model, and finally VS Code with GitHub Copilot and GPT-5. Which of them understood the code base the best, the fastest, and the most accurate for the future of this project? Because it's important to analyze the pattern of the code and remain with the same pattern for maintainability of that project for the future. So let's dive into the testing. So the first task is this. I open routes web of this project and I don't see any routes. And I'm interested, where can I find the controller or the code responsible for this dashboard route? And I will prompt AI agent as ask mode. And let's start with Cursor with Claude 4 Sonnet. I switch to ask and ask this question. What controller is responsible for the route? Let's see what it comes up with and how quickly it will identify the route. So it's searching for web routes, also finds auth routes. Yep, and it gives the answer that it's dashboard controller in route name in this namespace, this folder. So I got the answer in like 15 seconds or so. Good. Now let's try asking the same question to Claude Code. We proceed, and I will open it up and raise the same question. Paste here, and let's see if Claude Code with the same Claude 4 Sonnet under the hood will answer the question, and roughly as quickly. So it's already slower. It takes like 20 seconds to find 0 lines, then 0, and then found something, and then get to the same REST routes. So probably the answer will be correct, but a bit slower in like 40 seconds. But the quality of the answer, actually I do prefer the CLI now in Claude Code versus Cursor Agent, because Cursor Agent gave a lot of information and I needed only the controller. In this case, typically Claude Code gives only what I need, and I can click here and go to that controller, open it right away in Cursor. Now let's try another model, GPT-5 with Codex CLI. I upgraded to latest version, which allows us to have model of GPT-5 Codex, which is specifically for, well, coders. And I will leave it as medium. I will not switch to high because that would be unfair comparison versus Sonnet, so it would be more like Opus. But for more complex tasks with bigger thinking, probably I would choose high, and I'm planning a separate video of trying those in action and comparing medium versus high. Anyway, we have that model, and now let's reprompt again with the same question. What controller is responsible for the route? Let's see. And as you saw, I didn't give any context, any clues or anything to any models. I expect the AI agents to actually analyze the code base and find the information. So probably GPT-5 with Codex will perform search a bit differently because the algorithm is a bit different of when to search and how exactly. So 30 seconds in, but we do have that REST routes already found. And yeah, this is the result in 30 seconds. And again, in the CLI, similarly to Claude Code, Codex gives the information exactly in the short format what I need. And again, I can click to get to that file. Good job. And then finally, I opened the same project in VS Code and will ask the same question to GPT-5, but inside of VS Code. So I will paste it into ask mode with GitHub Copilot, and in the model I choose GPT-5, not mini, not high, and it's not offering GPT-5 Codex at the moment in VS Code. At the time of shooting this video, at least I haven't seen it in the list. And let's see what happens. Collecting information, filtering, and yeah, this is the answer almost right away in like 5 seconds or so. Wow, I'm impressed. So it didn't even show the path of how it was looking, it just spit out the answer. Wow, I click here and I get into that controller. Good job by VS Code with GPT-5. And this is where we get to the second task, the second test for all those AI agents, where I will ask them to write some code. And for example, on the dashboard, I see 2 tiles of total products and total categories. What about adding a third tile, third card, total admin users? And the actual test here for AI agent would be to understand the code, the structure. So on the dashboard controller, there's index, which has blade view, which has total catalogs as include, and then inside it's calling admin dashboard stats with Axios, with Vue.js as I understand, which leads back here, and we have dashboard helper with functions that are defined in this controller. And if we go inside of that dashboard helper, we need to click here actually. So we're actually interested in the function get total catalogs responsible for those 2 tiles. And I expect that there should be third function here, probably using something like category or product reporting, which are, I'm not sure if it's repository. Yeah, it's a repository. So basically quite a complex structure for relatively simple change, because the project structure is complex already with some design patterns. And let's see if AI agents will follow those patterns to create something new. And this is the prompt. Let's try it first in Cursor with Claude 4 Sonnet. And also let's put some context to help it. So there's dashboard controller and also dashboard index. So those 2 files are important, and let's see what it comes up with and how fast. Okay, we have the to-do list from 4 items, searching how the dashboard statistic cards implemented, search in the code base. Interesting. It seems to be on the right track. It will add the code to dashboard helper and update method. 4 out of 6 done. So there are 2 new things. Add language translations and check if the icon exists. So I didn't ask for translations or icon. This is kind of extra. I'm not sure if I'm happy with that. Probably it's a good thing to do. But in some cases you want it more like quick result. Because for example here it's trying to work on languages, cannot find something, and then it may go into like spiral and loop, trying to fix something which you didn't really ask for. Also icon, let's see. Great, I can see already icons. 6 out of 7 done. Verify the implementation. So how it will verify? Create a simple test, PHP artisan route list, route about, and yeah, perfect, changes made. Let's see what files were changed, and let's review the code. So in the dashboard we add models admin proxy. Not sure what that is. So we have a new local function inside of the same helper, so it doesn't use any repository. Maybe there isn't a repository for admins, I'm not sure. So it's using the model directly. Okay, what else was changed? In the blade file, it followed the same structure and added that tile. And then in the app PHP, these are probably just translations, I guess. So something is changed here. Okay, total admin users, and then it's not in line, so formatting is questionable, but the main thing should be correct. If we refresh now, we see total admin users with the correct number of 1, so the job is done in roughly 2 minutes or so. Now let's undo all those changes and give the same task to other AI agents. The next contestant is Claude Code, and in this case I will use dangerously skip permissions just to make this video shorter to not approve everything. And I've pasted the same prompt, but for some reason I cannot reference dashboard index, I can reference just the folder of view files. But okay, I will do exactly that. And let's see what Claude Code is up to. We can hit Ctrl-T for the to-do list, which is very similar for items as Claude 4 Sonnet inside of Cursor Agent. And we shouldn't be surprised, it's the same model just in different client, UI versus CLI. So I expect even the results to be roughly similar or even the same. Let's see. Yeah, so in the helpers, it adds the same model, admin count, roughly similar code in the same dashboard helper, total admin users function in the controller, then another total admin users v thing with total admin users, some more updates in the blade, Axios get another API request. So this is, I think, where it went a little bit off the rails. So it's separated get admin user stats in a separate API call, which is not necessarily what I wanted. Added new language, good. Also we'll check the icon. Roughly same thing, but then this is the main thing with AI agents. If you don't specify the design patterns that you want to use, then it may decide for itself whether to go like, I don't know, repositories or models or services or whatever, and you may not be happy. So this is about your guidelines, about your rules. So it tried to mimic the same structure of the project. But again, you may not like some of the decisions. Of course, you may reprompt, but the more specific you are in your prompt, initial prompt and guidelines, the better the result. So changes made, dashboard helper, controller, view, translations and icons. So it went a bit deeper and created one more API call. If we refresh the dashboard, we have the error, unable to locate file, because it went for icon, which doesn't probably exist. So in this case, we need to either reprompt or probably just running npm run build would be enough. Let's actually ask Claude Code in this case. I paste. And let's see what happens. It's almost kind of on the edge of vibe coding in this case, but I want to see how it thinks. So fixing vite manifest error. And also with this error, you may judge if you want that icon or another icon. It's your choice as a developer. But one more thing with those AI agents, what I want to emphasize, if you don't ask them to write automated tests, they will not by default, especially in such big repository of code. And then you're basically on your own to test the things manually, whether they work or not. In this small feature, it's fine. I just launch the dashboard and see if it works or not. But in general, a better practice is to run automated tests or ask it to generate automated tests for that feature. And while I'm talking, it's changing the icon to the one that actually exists and removes another icon, and let's see if it will actually work. Oh, okay, so another icon chosen. Not sure why, but it says perfect. Claude always says perfect, awesome, you're totally right, and stuff like that. But is it perfect? Let's refresh the dashboard. And yeah, we see the number with different icon chosen, and now it works. So not exactly one-shot prompt and a bit over-engineering with different API call. I'm not really happy with that approach, but the job is done. Next contestant, Codex, and I rolled back the changes of Claude Code, so we start fresh and allow Codex to work inside. And this is the same prompt, just referenced files without @ in this case, @ symbol. And let's roll with GPT-5 Codex. I like how Codex just lists the files without too much details of what it did inside of the files, but at least while it's referencing the files, I kind of understand the way of thinking. Okay, so it's doing a deeper dive into repository, into service provider, trying to understand what would be the approach. And this is what I've heard about GPT-5 in general from other reviewers, that for longer tasks, it tends to take longer, but the result is more accurate because it goes deeper. So we're 1.5 minutes in and we're still exploring and planning. This is the kind of way of thinking about how to add a new translation key. Then also same question about icon, considering icon options. And this is interesting. GPT-5 is trying to adjust the spacing where Claude Code didn't do that and Claude Sonnet 4. It just left spacing as it is. But in terms of more accuracy and precision, GPT-5 is again taking much longer, but seems to be doing better, more thorough job. So it also explores the repositories. So we're already 5 minutes in. And at that 5-minute mark, I think it's done. Yep, it tells me to visit the admin dashboard, so it went for 5 minutes. And we'll take a look at the code, but first let's check if it actually works. We refresh, no errors, this is correct, seems to be working. Now what were the changes? If I click this file, it is opened on top. And this is reporting admin added here. Then I see total admin users added here. And this is kind of downside of Codex at the moment. At least I haven't found a better way how to review the files, except for git changes, which in this case I don't have git changes. Maybe I should have, so a review would be much more convenient then. But we have what we have now. In the reporting admin, in the helper, we have total admin users from admin repository. So this is the thing. GPT-5 found that there is a repository of admin reporting and used the same pattern as per all project instead of doing the shortcut and going for just the model. So for bigger project, for long-term project, this is much better. It's totally worth to wait for a few more minutes, but to keep the code patterns the same for the future of this project. So good job, GPT-5, with Codex here. And then in the blade, I don't expect anything too fancy. New card, count display with icons that work from the first time, and also translations. Let's see if it fixed the indentation. No, it was thinking to fix it, but at the end left it as it is. This is probably a job for Laravel Paint or other code styling automatic fixers. And the last one to try out is Visual Studio Code with GPT-5 with the same prompt. It's just that the files are referenced with hash instead of at in the VS Code. And let's run it and see how quickly and how accurately it will solve the problem. It seems to be faster than Codex with GPT-5, and this is interesting. VS Code has GitHub Copilot and then GPT-5 on top. So maybe the GitHub Copilot layer is an essential piece of the puzzle here, because it seems to run faster than just Codex with GPT-5. But now, 1 minute in, it started to change the code, and we'll dive into the changes later. What do we have here in the helpers? We have repository here. And yeah, the result is done. It's like 1 minute and 20 seconds, I guess. And first, let's take a look if it works, and then we'll see the code. We'll refresh the dashboard, and same thing. Same error as in the Claude Code recently with icons. So this is interesting. We are in VS Code, which is not Claude product. Then we're using GPT-5, which is not Claude model, but it seems like on some level, all LLM's agents tend to do some things in the same way. Let's try to reprompt again with just the error, and let's see whether it will fix it quickly. It's thinking for like 15 seconds, and now I'm waiting for like 30 seconds more. And yeah, things start happening now. So in this case, GPT-5 is not the fastest to solve this. So another setup working. So I'm waiting. Meanwhile, let's take a look at the code actually. So dashboard helper is repository here, and I would add that repository on top. This would be generally in my guidelines. I prefer the full namespace on top and just a class name here. We have the repository here. I'm not sure all count is good for performance. And just as we speak, it updated it. So it was thinking about the icon change, but somewhere along the way, yep, I also optimized count query. So this is brilliant. I was thinking about optimization, and AI thought about the same thing at the same time. So did it change the icon in the end? What to do? Make sure, reference, let's refresh. The error is still the same. So it didn't actually fix the error, it instructs us what to do and what to run. Probably is just about rebuilding. npm run build, let's do exactly that. So in the terminal, I will run npm install and npm run build. We'll see if it's successful. Yeah, seems okay. And now if we refresh the page, still the same error. So yeah, at this point, I will just change the icon to something existing. Let's close the chat for now and let's see all other changes. So it correctly identified the repository. This is good. And now if we navigate other changes with language, this is another interesting. So instead of adding space, it chose this structure, which is okay. Then new card, and finally icon admin users new SVG, which I don't really need. Let's actually use the same image and icon here, and that should work, I think. If we refresh now, we have the same icon. So to add a new icon, we need to do some front-end changes, which I don't really want at the moment. And this is, by the way, the difference between like vibe coder and using AI by a developer, because developer would think themselves out of the problem. As I tweeted recently, the debugging thing, the debugging skill and talent is what separates developers from AI agents. So this would be one of the main reasons why AI is not taking anyone's job at any near future. So yeah, the result of VS Code is done. The code is okay, except for the namespace here. I didn't like that. And also with the speed, the first result was pretty impressive in a minute or so, but then debugging the icon took a few minutes and didn't even succeed. So not sure how to evaluate that. But all in all, the conclusion from this video, if we summarize, would be this. My main takeaway is that GPT-5 analyzes the code of existing project better, more thorough, and tries to stick to the standard of the project while being a bit slower in Codex CLI. With VS Code and GitHub Copilot, it is faster. Not sure why. What is the secret? If it's the same experience to you, share in the comments below. And if we're speaking about Claude Sonnet model, it is okay, but it tries to deliver faster in favor of digging deeper into the code for patterns. It's similarly how general Claude on the web, it seems to be pleasing, it seems to be saying you're absolutely right all the time, but for more complex questions, it tends to prefer the speed and the quick result, quick positive result, instead of accuracy. Maybe it's a different story with Claude Opus. I haven't tried that model because it's way too expensive for my use cases. So if you tried Opus, let me know if your experience is different. And if we compare Claude Code versus Cursor, I kind of got used to Claude Code as a CLI and got used to the way it shows me the information in a good, concise way in the terminal, so I don't really miss that much. The IDE and the visual and more text, because Cursor tends to write a lot of text, be very verbose, which I personally don't like. But also it's a thing of preference. You may prefer IDE over terminal. You may prefer speed over thinking deeper. All of those models and IDEs did deliver. But since the essence of this video was to test the thing on the bigger project with structure and design pattern and how AI understands those patterns and delivers, I would declare Codex with CLI and GPT-5 Codex the winner of this, because that was the most accurate written code, the slowest, but the best quality code in terms of project being maintained for the future. What do you think, guys? Let's discuss in the comments below. And if you want to stay ahead in AI coding news, I do have a free newsletter I send every Wednesday. This is Substack page, so you can subscribe to that, all for free. Every Wednesday I gather a lot of links from the community to read, to watch, and rewatch videos from myself. So I will link that in the description below. That's it for this time, and see you guys in other videos.